Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in Vermont. Now this is actually a game that I recorded last week. It was among one night where I played a bunch of different ships and ended up in getting games in like Louisiana, Montana, Yamato, Conqueror, the Vermont. We had a whole bunch of games back to back to back that I was able to get that night, and this is one of them. And this one is another one of those games that I love. These are the games that I continue to stick around this game for. Despite all the frustrations that we all feel on a day-to-day basis playing this game, we stick around. And why do we stick around? Because we all enjoy when things go down to the wire. That's the way I call it anyway. When you don't know who's going to win the match until the match is over. And that's what this match is going to be. It's fantastic all the way through for many different reasons. You'll have plenty of potatoes. Don't worry. Don't worry. I know a lot of y'all be thinking, well, Spartan, you only get these games because your teams are better. You only get these games. But no. There are plenty of potatoes to go around. Speaking of potatoes, hello, Minnesota. How are you doing? Now, you guys heard me in the Minnesota recently, and I showed how good that ship can be. And so we're going to reach out and touch him with a little bit of 18-inch love from, it's Big Brother. And we get pretty unrewarded for it. 8,000 damage. It's still not a bad hit, but really? That's it, Vermont? That's the best you got? And that's one of the downsides of Vermont. Like, it'll throw you. Now, I am not running a full accuracy build. I'm running a damage build. I've been running the damage build for a little bit just because memes, really. It's just fun to delete people. And, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. But right off the bat, our Minagumo decides to double back, right? And I want you to pay attention to the stuff that goes on in this match. There's so many dumb things that I'm gonna try to point out when I see them, because I'm gonna remember them as I do this. Remember, this was a few days ago at this point. This was almost, like 5 days past at this point. So, oh my god, and then you go from, just a whopping 8,000 damage to smacking the man for 24,000 damage. Just dirty. Just dirty, man. Alright, there's some math wrong. I get it. I just estimate in my head, okay? It sounded good. It was probably like, I don't know. It was not 24,000. Anyway, it's in that neighborhood. You get the drift. But Minagumo comes out, and I want you to know that the Minagumo did spot the enemy destroyer initially, and then the Minagumo, doing Minagumo things, immediately smokes up and hides, because that's what destroyer players do. They don't want to engage in conflict because that would be rude. And so here you see Minagumo finally comes out of a smoke screen, engages in conflict. I try to help, didn't quite lead this one enough. That's on me. I did hit him, but I could have done more damage there, I feel. But here's the problem. Our destroyer is going to turn tail and run away here. And this is a mistake for a lot of reasons. One, you're allowing the man to disappear. Okay? You get a chance to, and you're in the same ship, right? You have such an advantage over this man right now, it's ridiculous, right? You had 2 battleships minimum, maybe 3 battleships help shoot the man, plus you were able to shoot him. Between all of that firepower, you should never allow this man to escape. But, again, destroyer players on the average, they simply aren't looking to get into a conflict, right? They are out there in the ships that do not get spotted, do not get shot unless they make a mistake, right? And so a lot of them just simply aren't experienced in gunfights. And that's something that as a destroyer player, you need to get good at relatively quickly. If you're going to play any destroyers, it don't matter what destroyer you're in. Any destroyers at all, you need to learn to use the guns. Now here, Minnesota, this is not the best shot in the world, but again, I don't want him to sit there. I want him to get off that rock. I don't know if he's stuck there, but I'm just going to assume that he's sitting there of his own volition. And I don't want him to be there anymore. So I'm going to send him a warning shot, and that is to hopefully get his butt moving off of that island where he will be much easier to kill. See, this is the thing. A lot of people look at that and go, well, why would you shoot him? You're not going to get any damage. Yeah, but damage is damage. You're going to make the man unsettled. Okay? And that leads to mistakes. Now, our destroyer goes out here and engages the Minagumo. Now, here's the other important thing to remember. If he'd have went after the guy initially, the Minnesota couldn't have helped him. But because he waits and then he lets him get all the way out there, now suddenly our Minagumo is in direct line of sight of their Minnesota. I can't shoot the Minnesota to help, and I'm not in position to be shot by the Minnesota because I'm slow as crap. So suddenly, our destroyer is at a disadvantage. This is, as you would expect, not ideal, right? Now, Kerr first decides he wants to push into the middle here. This is a terrible push. The reason for that is it's too late. He's allowed us to take up flanks, right? If you're going to make that push, you want to get up there a little bit early so that, holy mother of Vermont, Batman, we just hit that man with 10 out of 12 shells and absolutely crushed him with Arthas active. That's why I've been playing this, just because it is hilarious the amount of damage that you can stack up, even without Citadels. God help anybody if you Citadel them, but even without Citadels, just the sheer volume of damage you can put out there is ridiculous. Now, our destroyer goes down, right? Shocker. The guy didn't want to fight, ends up playing around with the fight, ends up missing out on the fight, and dies in the process. That was a terrible shot by me, by the way. I ain't going to beat around the bush. That was ugly, right? But Minnesota has come out, and he is now taking shots at me. He's not really a threat to me at this point. You know who is a threat to me? The other Minagumo. You know, the guy that the destroyer refused to kill in the first place? Yeah, that's a problem. Especially when you're in a gigantic ship like this, and then the Minnesota does this. Like, I don't know what your thought. You're done. You're just done. You do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're done. Like, the man was like, I'm tired of sitting here getting nickel and dime to death. I'm going to come out and fire all my guns. Meanwhile, I've got 12 18-inch guns pointed at his broadside. Yeah, go ahead, Sunshine. Let's see who wins this one. Yeah, turns out I took no damage. None. Not even a little bit of damage from that Minnesota. Kind of crazy, huh? But you can see here, I am immediately turning away because I know that chasing after a Minagumo is a bad play in a Vermont, right? Like, there's nothing I can do. He is going to dictate the engagement, which will ultimately lead to my demise. Now, we get a good shot here on the broadside of the Gross Occur first, but unfortunately, Vermont says, you know what, I just hit that Minnesota pretty hard. I'm not going to hit the Gross Occur first, which is real unfortunate for me. But the good news is I'm putting distance between me and the Minagumo, right? Like, I don't want him to be able to just run up on me. You'll notice that my brave battleship buddies that have been back here this entire time, hiding behind their islands. Now, I will give credit where credit is due. At least this Schlieffen was trying to shoot something. I don't know what the other guy was. But the Schlieffen is actually going to do something that is crucial in this match. And that is, he is going to take it into his power, or his capable hands, I guess. I'm trying to think of the word that I'm trying to think of, and I can't think of it. Ain't that the worst? But anyway, he's taken the problem into his own hands, right? He's basically a vigilante for hunting the Minagumo. Schlieffen is a little bit more agile than I am, but he also has a long-range sonar, has lots of secondaries, has torpedoes. He has a lot more tools at his disposal. And his sonar saves my bacon here, because that torp would have been death. Okay, if I'd have run into those torps, I'm dead. But he was able to spot them early enough for me that I was able to easily avoid them. And we're going to go ahead and leave at this point to put ourselves in position to counter the enemy. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to a couple of things here. First of all, like I said, Schlieffen, absolutely crucial in this battle. Because not only is he pushing up that left flank to help occupy the Minagumo for the rest of the match, and he's going to do so successfully. The Minagumo is going to take the bait and go after him. And then on top of that, he's going to put himself in a beautiful crossfire position. Remember, Schlieffen is way faster than I am, right? I'm the brute, right? Like, I am the brute force sniper sort of battleship. I can brawl with the best of them when it comes to up close and personals. Yes, a lot of people don't think of brawling when they think of the Vermont, but Vermont is fully capable of up close and personal engagements. It will absolutely devastate people. And again, this is a terrible shot by me. Please don't yell at me. Not the best shot I've ever taken, okay? There are times where I just do not lead the target enough. All right, these are some of them. But again, when you play as many different ships as I do, sometimes the leads can be a little bit awkward because every ship has different muzzle velocities, right? But you know that the Dalian is over there. We know that there's another cruiser over there as well. So we're trying to keep ourselves in position to help with that. And then, of course, their battleships are pushing over on the other flank. Now, you can see the 2 battleships behind me. I don't know what they're doing. Worcester, I mean, this is a huge, huge mistake by this Worcester. He finally gets spotted by me because I got close enough to get him spotted. He must have been out of gun range, but, I mean, that's just GG's. Arthas is not going to allow you to survive that, Sunshine. Not stationary, not slightly angled. Like, that's death, right? And that was absolutely crucial for our team as well. Because now, Dalian doesn't have any backup, right? It's just a Dalian at this point. And then the couple of battleships that are out front. And then the Minagumo, who's chasing our Schlieffen unsuccessfully. And our 2 battleships here in the middle are actually starting to kind of put themselves unintentionally kind of putting themselves in a favorable position because the enemy is pushing up the right flank to counter our right flank. Now, Ager here, if you're the Ager in this situation, there's not much you can do. You just try to survive as long as possible and hope that we can get over there to help you. And you can see smokescreen pops up here. That's one of 2 people. That's either Dalian or it's a destroyer. And you can see with the smokescreen there, I'm going to go ahead and take that shot. This guy is absolutely begging for his broadside, and we are absolutely going to hit him. But unfortunately, we didn't destroy that man. I would have loved it if that was a death strike, I ain't gonna lie, because he deserved it. Too many cruisers get into their smoke screen. But look, because of that, he immediately pulls out and goes and fights our friggin' Schlieffen. And this is what I talk about with being unsettled. Everybody freaks out when they get hit. Even if it's a minor, just barely a scratch kind of hit. They freak out, and they change what they're doing because of it. And that almost always ends poorly for everybody. Or at least for them, anyway. But Grossa Kurfürst here, after the Ager dies, makes the right call by turning away. And you can see, I'm looking over here, I got a full health Grossa Kurfürst. I got this guy over here in front of me, Dalian's over here. Like, at this point, this game could go either way. And you can see, I was a little slow getting the shot out on the Dalian there, unfortunately. Front gun's loaded, but I don't have a good shot at the Grossa Kurfürst either. And you can see Schlieffen is kind of angling away here. Expecting torpedoes from the Dalian or potentially the Menegumo. But you can see, I hear torpedoes to starboard, and I'm like, where? There's nothing around. Now, there are still 2 destroyers, and you can see one of them spotted right now. It's not the Menegumo, it's the other one. But Dalian here, unfortunately, behind the island. Velos is here, and you can see that our radar from our battleship is a little premature, but I am going to use it to try to get him a little bit of help here and hit the Velos with a pretty solid hit, to be honest. Three solid overpins. So the radar wasn't for nothing. I think the radar was just a little premature. I think he could have held onto that radar a little bit. But either way, it wasn't a wasted radar. I did get a chunk off the destroyer, which could be the difference between killing the destroyer later on and leaving him with enough to dev strike somebody. You know what I'm saying? But at this point, I'm trying to set up a crossfire for our team. Our team's losing, but the game is so close. All we need is like one good kill to send this game into like us winning the match, right? As long as nobody dies. And Giuseppe is doing the right thing here. He's not pushing into the cap. Now, you could push into the cap here, but you just saw the Dalian. You haven't seen the Menegumo in a while, but you just saw the Dalian. You just saw the Velos. You got to assume torpedoes are on the way. So there is absolutely no reason for him to shove himself around that corner, at least initially, because despite being down a little bit of points, he could potentially stop the enemy from accruing points by getting into their cap, and that would give us the advantage there. But if he dies doing it, then it puts us in a bigger disadvantage than it would have given us had he just gone into the cap and stopped them from accruing points. You see what I'm saying? Like, the trade is not worth it in that situation, especially when the enemy is going to make mistakes like this. And this is why we put ourselves in these crossfires, because people make mistakes. They don't pay attention, and the Dalian is a prime example of that. Now, we kill the Dalian. We still have our damage control available. We've got the Grossa Kurfürst here. We've got the lead temporarily, but notice that the Menegumo actually went all the way around the map and is now in our cap. All right? But look at the time left on the clock, guys. There's not enough time for him to capture the base. So he's wasting his time. Now, he could be on his way to me. He could be on his way chasing one of our teammates. I don't know. But Velos drops his torps, and again, we knew this was coming. We knew he was over here. We're going to survive it. We have all of our health. We have our damage controls. There's nothing that we're afraid of in that situation, because our result is going to be better than what they are going to get out of this. Now, we have less than 30 or we have about 30 seconds left here. You can see that the enemy Kurfürst is going to go down now, and that leaves the Wisconsin. We take an even bigger points lead at this point. So we're going to go ahead and take a shot at the Wisconsin, and then I've dodged the next salvo of torps from the Velos. We knew they were coming, right? Just paying attention to what's around you. You know they're there. We've taken one salvo from them. We didn't care. We had plenty of health. Damage controls ready. We can't afford to take that second big salvo, right? So we've got to be on our toes. And now, game's over. We win based on points with just under 200,000 damage, and well done to the Schlieffen specifically, the Giuseppe pulling in when he needed to, and nobody throwing on our team. 2,800 base XP, staying in the fight until the clutch, and doing everything we needed to do in that one to bring our team back from the jaws of victory once again. So let me know if you guys are enjoying these close games as much as I am. If you like what I'm doing, punch a like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.